Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to yet another Gamma World module review. This time I actually picked this one up just in time for the show. This is Gamma Base. It was a reprint bought off eBay by a seller who apparently paid for the permission to print off a crap ton of these as they were desired. I got it for a pretty decent price. And I'm not going to disclose who the seller was because there's plenty of folks out there doing this, which is actually kind of depressing. I wish the sellers of these would let you know right there in the title of what they were selling that it is in fact a reprint. You have to go in to each and every ad to find out that it is in fact a reprint, because they don't want to let you know that, and hopefully get suckered into buying it in some cases. Although when they have the spot on the ad that tells you can buy multiple copies, it's pretty obvious what's going on. Excuse me, Fuzzface wants to hang out with us. I don't know why. He's just going to ask to go right back out in a moment or two. But it's a nice copy. However, the maps have all been dissected to be able to be put into the book. Normally, you'd actually get a really big, let's see, it's 2, 4, 6, what would normally be an 8-page map. The module itself is with charts. Come on, why don't you number the pages? Probably about 46, 48 pages. A neat little adventure, once again, in the Flowerlands, taking you to not really Gamma Base, but a place called the Pit of Despair. Yeah, where have I heard that before? Oh yeah, Princess Bride. But it's still funny. It's still an interesting adventure. Part 3, I think, of the attempt to find the Sky Chariot and return to the cities of man. This one, I believe, nets you. Is it the engine or is it the fuselage? Well, another one of the pieces to the puzzle that will eventually be built into the shuttle that allow you to go in, leave the atmosphere, and find the Warden class starship. It's a mediocre adventure. It turns out the Pit of Despair is actually a training ground built by one of the ancients, or turned into a training ground by one of the ancients, one of the people who survived from the before times, and is testing adventurers for people worthy of making the trip into space to help the NPC find out what's going on with the Warden class starship. He wants to return there as well and help rebuild the Earth with the population of the people on the Warden class starship. It's kind of mediocre. It's not awful, and it is chock full of great new monsters and creatures and plants, new races. The area itself is quite an extensive little complex dungeon, however you want to look at it. You get more levels. This adventure would take a seasoned adventuring party months of playtime to explore every level of it, because once you get to the bottom level, the NPC that's trying to recruit people for his cause will then have you go back throughout the whole complex looking for specific key items that you may have found along the way, and if not, you've got to trudge all the way back up and basically almost do it again, unless you've been really meticulous. and you've gone through every single room and picked up every clue and innocuous looking piece of paper, all for the purpose of proving you're worthy to continue on the adventure. Kind of heavy-handed and kind of a long, drawn-out process that is going to, like I said, you know, if your players are into that, then they will have a good long adventure for months of actual gameplay time. This is, like I said, being that it's, you know, over almost 50 pages with the random charts and extra maps and things like that, all the different creatures and NPC encounters along the way. It's very, very reminiscent of Expedition to the Barrier Peaks, but doubly so, having to go through it, you know, get to the bottom and then maybe go back all the way back up through it to find the missing puzzle pieces and bring them back down again, the whole time going through wandering encounters. And just it seems like a bit of a slog to me, but instead of it being, you know, an entirely overland adventure like I think the next one is, it will definitely keep you busy. Not the worst one, definitely not the worst adventure so far, but it's definitely going to net your players a lot of experience. But then again, this is for 3rd edition, so I don't recall exactly how the experience point system works. I think it was a low number system where 1 or 2 experience points is a big deal. I think somewhere in here it mentions maybe the entire adventure being like 200 experience points, which, you know, depending on what level you are or how that system works, could you know, be a just reward. And there are other rewards, other tangible rewards as well. Lots of new equipment. Some of the equipment, though, just a little far-fetched in not in the technological level, but in would anybody really create something like this? Mind you, it was written in the late 80s, I think. $1987. But there you have it. I will be going into the next one, which was, for me, a PDF, and then Epsilon Cyborgs, and then I will be reviewing Project Omega, which is the conclusion, the unofficial conclusion to the Gamma World modules series. Then I will be going into the 4th edition modules, which I have all 3. Following that, I should get to the final Player's Handbook, and then Wretched Apocalypse by the Red Room, which should conclude my Gamma World series. But that will bring me into June at the very end of this series. But I hope you guys will continue to watch despite the low turnout for Gamma World fans. I realize, like Top Secret and Boot Hill, this is a very, very niche genre and not everybody's favorite, and not necessarily even mine, but definitely one of my top 10 favorite game systems. Mind you, Gamma World 2nd edition, 3rd, 4th, etc. And we'll see. We'll see when I get to them how I feel in comparison. But to me, Gamma World 2nd edition was the superior Gamma World, the apogee of Gamma World. Although the 5th edition, Alternity edition, was absolutely magnificent in the amount of quality product they put out. Just a little too 5e for me, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Until then, folks, have a great day. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. As you can tell, I wasn't able to get to this until after the weekend because it was pretty busy for us, and the weather is now starting to turn into actual spring, if not summer. So I hope you guys are enjoying that, getting some fresh air, some sunlight, and of course some gaming in. And until next time, folks, happy trails.